Good afternoon and welcome back to Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching the closing bell. I'm Santosh Nair.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
Benchmark indices extended their losses for the second consecutive session today. Losses were mainly in the losses were mainly in private sector banks, and whereas the gainers were mostly from IT, selectively barring those companies which had already announced their numbers, and also pharma shares which made a strong comeback today. The India VIX was down by about 1.5% to 12.08, and among the prominent gainers of the day we had Divi's Lab, Nestle, HCL Tech, Cipla and IndusInd Bank, whereas among the losers we had Power Grid, Ultratech Cement, Adani Enterprises, Titan and Reliance Industries.
एब्सोल्युटली सैंटो, आज अगर हम देखें तो आईटी स्टॉक्स जिसके रिजल्ट्स आने बाकी हैं उन्होंने शार्प कम्बैक दिया. एचसीएल टेक्नोलॉजीज, कोफोर्ज, एम्फोसिस, सभी के सभी आईटी के मिड टियर कंपनीज में अच्छी खासी बाइंग थी. प्रॉब्ली एक शॉर्ट कवरिंग का बाउट भी हो सकता है, लेकिन हाँ काफ़ी सारी स्ट्रेंथ आपने यहाँ देखी. फार्मा जैसे कि सैंटो बता रहे थे, लुपिन से लेके दीवीज लैब्स, सिप्ला, इन सभी स्टॉक्स में अच्छी स्ट्रेंथ थी. इनफैक्ट दीवीज लैब 3.5% ऊपर और सिप्ला 2% ऊपर बंद हुए. And Santo, not to mention the sustained rally in Nestle, again after yesterday's gain, the stock was up another 2%. Losing side पे big boy Reliance Industries, Adani Enterprises और Ultratech Cement, यानी अंबानी, बिरला और अदानी ग्रुप की फ्लैगशिप कंपनीज टॉप लूजर्स बनी. 1-1.5% का यहाँ आपको मिनिमम कट आता हुआ दिखाई पड़ा.
Interestingly, Yatin, we saw good follow-up buying coming in mid-cap stocks for the second day
Correct.
in a row, and this despite the fact that the Sensex and Nifty have been under pressure for the last couple of days. What has really changed out there in the mid-cap space, Yatin? What are you picking up?
I think, Santo, March we typically see a sell-off, and the first 2-3 weeks of April are usually good for mid-cap stocks. Plus, I think earnings ने disappoint नहीं किया है. So far जो mid-cap के earnings आ रहे हैं, जैसे आज एक्सेलिया काले के results आए, इट्स इनटू एविएशन सॉफ्टवेयर्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजी सर्विसेज, वहाँ भी अच्छे रिजल्ट्स आए. और इन जनरल हम ये देख रहे हैं कि काफ़ी डीप करेक्शन के बाद अब थोड़ा बहुत मिड कैप में भी एक्शन आता हुआ दिखाई पड़ रहा है. और शायद व्हेन द मार्केट इज डाउन स्टिल द मिड कैप इंडिसेस आर अप एंड द मार्केट ब्रेथ इज बेटर. तो हाँ, स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक काफ़ी एक्शन है. स्टॉक से न्यूज़ वाले स्टॉक्स भी अच्छी तरीके से मूव हो रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट आज येस बैंक भी 8.5% ऊपर था.
Well, there's an interesting thing about Yes Bank. What some analysts tracking the stock have been saying is that the increase in market capitalization there is largely due to the issuance of new shares and not necessarily the rise in value, or that is something the market seems to overlook every time they go very gung-ho on Yes Bank. Well, that apart, let's take a quick look at the key stocks on our watch list this afternoon, beginning with Tata Chemicals. This stock saw a sharp drop, falling by close to about 5% today. And the main reason was the company cutting prices for its light and dense soda ash by 3 to 4% pan India. Yatin, I remember just 2 months back when overall outlook on the stock was very bullish. One of the reasons put forward by analysts was that soda ash prices were likely to remain strong for the foreseeable future, and additional capacity was unlikely to come on stream. But there seems to have been a slight twist in the plot there, and prices in China have corrected very sharply, and reports coming from there are that there's likely to be a huge capacity addition from a plant in Inner Mongolia. And Kotak has said that while there is no clear, the news has not been verified yet, but the sharp correction in soda ash prices in China seems to indicate that there are clearly concerns of overcapacity in the sector. At the same time, Kotak Institutional Equities has said that the pressure on earnings to some extent could be offset by other factors like the fall in coal prices and also steady prices in the northern America parts of the globe. However, at the same time, Kotak Institutional Equities has also said that the outlook for the rest of 2023 looks a little uncertain, given that there are signs of a slowdown in the construction and automotive sectors in the US.
Absolutely, and Tata Chemicals is one commodity stock which has seen sharp reactions. And yesterday the stock was down around 3%, and आज भी 6% का correction है. तो yes, there is some serious institutional selling as far as this large cap is concerned. But Santo focus shift करेंगे housing finance company की तरफ, और affordable housing finance segment is where Morgan Stanley has initiated the coverage. 4 बड़ी NBFCs जो इनको लगती है कि अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग सेगमेंट में अच्छा अर्निंग्स दिखाएंगी, उनके ऊपर ये रिपोर्ट उन्होंने आज निकाली है। ऑब्वियसली अगर हम अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग फाइनेंस की बात करें तो काफ़ी सारे लीवर्स हैं ग्रोथ के लिए, गवर्नमेंट का तो फोकस है ही, लेकिन अगर हाउसिंग एज अ सेक्टर की बात करें तो ESG कंप्लायंस से लेके अर्निंग्स अपॉर्चुनिटी काफ़ी अच्छी दिखाई दे रही है। इनफैक्ट मॉर्गन स्टैनली को लगता है कि जो हायर लोन ग्रोथ है वो पॉसिबल है ये सेक्टर में, और आगे जाके जो बिजनेस रिस्क रिटर्न रिवॉर्ड रेशियो है वो भी फेवरेबल है। इनफैक्ट जो कोविड में हमने ये देखा कि शायद लोगों को लगा कि हाउसिंग फाइनेंस में आपको एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम आएगा एसेट क्वालिटी का, वैसा भी कुछ नहीं हुआ। तो जो कोविड का टेस्ट फेज पास कर दिया है, काफ़ी सारी NBFCs की बैलेंस शीट इसमें मजबूत हो गई है, इसीलिए उनको एप्टस वैल्यू में ये एक स्टॉक है जहां इनको बहुत अच्छा अपसाइड लगता है। 325 के टारगेट के साथ यहाँ ये ओवरवेट है। होम फर्स्ट फाइनेंस यहाँ भी वो ओवरवेट है 900 रुपये के टारगेट के साथ, और ये क्योंकि ये दोनों कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट छोटी है, ग्रो होने के काफ़ी सारे अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं, यहाँ वो बोल रहे हैं कि यहाँ खरीदारी करें। आवास फाइनेंस और कैनफिन होम्स ये दोनों स्टॉक्स पे इक्वल वेट है। कैनफिन होम पे टारगेट है 550 और आवास पे टारगेट है 900। बट ओवरऑल जो थीम है हाउसिंग फाइनेंस की वो मॉर्गन स्टैनली को लगती है कि इस कंट्री में काफ़ी सारी डिमांड है और काफ़ी सारी ग्रोथ अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है।
Well, moving over to the second stock on a watch list is Lupin. Interestingly, the stock has rallied by close to about 6%, and I say interesting here, Yatin, because this is one stock where, because of the recent observations by the US FDA at its Pithampur plant, which is also one of the major plants for Lupin, the outlook has been quite cautious. Interestingly, Lupin has been among one of the biggest gainers today, the stock up by about 6%. Now, Nuvama Institutional Equities yesterday came out with a bearish sounding report on Lupin. It said that there was a high probability of the company receiving an official action indicated classification from the US FDA following the Form 483 which was handed out to the company recently. Now, what the official action indicated means is that the violations which were found at the plant under the recent observations are serious enough to compromise the safety and efficacy of the drugs produced at the plant. Now, according to Nuvama, 3 of the 10 observations made by US FDA are quite serious, 3 are moderately serious, and the rest are benign. And despite there being no observations on the data integrity, the breadth and repetition of the observations are a clear negative. That's also because 30 to 35 of the 160 ANDAs that the company has filed and are pending for approval are from the Pithampur plant. So, a delay in approvals could also clearly affect the earnings. In fact, Nuvama has already trimmed its earnings estimates for the company by 4% for financial years FY24 and FY25.
But I think Santo, one big approval which is pending for Lupin, in which the company's fortunes could change both in terms of opportunity and earnings, would be the Spiriva launch. So that is one drug because of which there is a lot of buzz in the market that the approval or the communication regarding this drug could be done anytime shortly. So let's see if they are able to get approvals and launch timelines for the US market. But Spiriva for Lupin is a very important drug, and analysts usually every quarter do inquire about this drug and the status, and the management probably has a constructive outlook with regards to this drug.
Or maybe some people in the market know something that the rest of the market does not know. Well, on that note, it's a wrap on this episode of Closing Bell. Thank you for watching.
जुड़ने के लिए बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद.
And we'll be back with you again at 9 AM tomorrow morning.